Today I want to give you a short briefing on what's in store for us, rather wrapping up after the summit, and what's in store for us for the coming month. I will touch briefly on Zimbabwe, but as you know, we as chair of SADC are, together with the chair of the organ, are responsible for making sure that all those processes that comply with our own requirements as SADC are adhered to. So until the ZEC has declared, we are unable to make any comment about Zimbabwe, except this. The President and ourselves are extremely happy with the way that the elections started off. Very peaceful. We've even learned to say it the way the Zimbabweans say it. It was very peaceful. It went very well, and we were very happy. And our hope right now is that it ends as peacefully as it started. We were concerned about what happened yesterday, but I believe now that we'll be going into the terrain of the ZEC, and we want to give them the space and give them the respect that they deserve. We think that they've done a very good job, and we would like them to wrap up. Tomorrow we will make sure that the President addresses you either in the form of a press statement or through me or personally on South Africa's comments on the elections. So you'll still be called upon, and you'll still be briefed on a regular basis tomorrow about South Africa's view on the elections. But so far we were very happy with the start, a bit disappointed with the protests and everything else that surrounded that, but we leave it to the Zimbabweans to deal with that. Ladies and gentlemen, let me now go back to BRICS and wind up for you what BRICS entailed for the rest of the country. We had our 10th BRICS Summit, hosted from the 25th to the 27th of July in Sandton City, Johannesburg. And I'd like to thank, beyond you, I'd like to thank all the role players, including government officials. My government officials outdid themselves, and I really am very proud of the work that they put out there. We would like to thank the business community. They had a business forum, and it looks like it went very well. We'd like to thank all the NGOs and stakeholders that were assisting us. We'd like to thank also civil society. They had their own parade and their own summit alongside ours, and they were able to express themselves. We dedicated 3 ministers, Minister Ngwinti, Minister Nxesi, and Minister, I forget now the third minister, to go, it was Minister of Labor, but she was unfortunately held up in Durban because she was hosting a labor summit there. And they graciously received a memorandum and attended to the complaints of civil society around a number of things. We'd like to thank civil society for being so cooperative, expressing themselves without taking attention from some of the issues that we wanted to focus on, which is creating a platform that is created by the high-level summits to ensure that we can bring a level of development in this country that would make us what we would like to be the South Africa that we had hoped for when we took over power in 1994. Through the summit, we were able to showcase the treasure of this country, which is its people, and who were both welcoming and very professional in their dealings with people who came in through our borders and through our ports of entry. President Cyril Ramaphosa hosted his BRICS counterpart, President Michel Temer of Brazil, President Vladimir Putin of Russia, Prime Minister Narendra Modi of India, and President Xi Jinping of China. The summit was also attended by leaders invited by the BRICS Plus dialogue, namely Argentina as chair of the G20, Jamaica as chair of CARICOM, and Turkey as chair of the Organization of Islamic Conferences. The summit was further attended by heads of state and government invited by the President to the Africa Outreach Dialogue, namely Rwanda as chair of the AU, Uganda as chair of the region, Togo as chair of the region, Gabon, Madagascar, Senegal. And then we thereafter decided that we were going to invite SADC countries. All SADC countries attended. Therefore, we had Namibia, Angola, Malawi, Mozambique, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and Botswana, as well as representatives from Lesotho. As you know, Lesotho is going through its own problems, which is why we have sent a facilitation team there. But they sent a representative. The Democratic Republic of Congo is also preparing for its elections, so the president sent a representative. Egypt was represented. Tanzania and Seychelles was represented. The total heads of state who were here were 25, which is BRICS, BRICS Plus, BRICS Outreach. The following agreements were signed by the BRICS 5 member states, and that was a Memorandum of Understanding on the Environment, Memorandum of Understanding on BRICS Regional Aviation Partnership, Agreement for the establishment of the Regional Office of the New Development Bank for the Americas in the city of Sao Paulo. As you know, we have established a regional bank for Africa, and it is in Midrand. We signed a number of bilaterals. Two of them, the most important one, are the Memorandum of Understanding between South Africa, India, on the setting up of the Gandhi Mandela Center of Specialization for Artisan Skills. You will all remember that we are also celebrating 125 years of the arrival of Mahatma Gandhi in Pietermaritzburg on that fateful day when he came face to face with the brutality of racism in a railway station. And it happens at the same time as we're celebrating Nelson Mandela's 100th anniversary. This particular TVET college will be established to train youngsters in technical and vocational professions, and this is Gandhi and Mandela Memorial commitment to ensure that we can raise the level of skills in our society. The MOU provides, amongst other things, for the training of South African personnel in India and the training of facilitators by Indian experts in South Africa. The another memorandum of understanding that we had was with India, which was the MOU between the Indian Space Research Organization and the South African National Space Agency on cooperation and exploration and the use of outer space for peaceful purposes. The aim of this memorandum is to promote the development of partnership in the field of exploration of outer space and the application of space technologies for the benefit of the people of both countries, and to preserve the outer space for peaceful purposes, open to wide international cooperation. Another memorandum of understanding that was signed was the Memorandum of Understanding between the Indian Council of Agricultural Research in New Delhi, India, and the Agricultural Research in South Africa in Pretoria on cooperation in agricultural research and education. The objective of this one, it is self-explanatory, is to ensure that we can promote resource development in the field of agricultural research and agricultural training, and to foster innovation and technology development for agricultural purposes. The Republic of South Africa and Russia and the Russian Federation also signed an agreement on cooperation in the field of agriculture and a memorandum of understanding on cooperation of water resource management. The main outcomes of the 10th BRICS Summit were informed by South Africa's chairship and the priorities notably. One, as the title of the summit indicates, we are interested in making sure that we can promote the fourth industrial revolution. As part of the key deliverables, the leaders endorsed the establishment of a BRICS working group on the fourth industrial revolution through the BRICS New Partnership and its advisory group consisting of respective representatives of BRICS Ministries of Industry. Together with the initiative mentioned above, the establishment of BRICS networks of science parks, technology, business, and incubators, and small business and medium enterprises was endorsed. There's a great boost for our small and medium-sized enterprises. And the way forward, there will be a meeting of experts in the field of the Fourth Industrial Revolution that should be convened during South Africa's chairship, which should be very soon. We have a little over 6 months left, I think, for the completion of this. Out of this BRICS summit, we also addressed the problem of the vaccine center. We have common challenges in health, and through strengthening the coordination and cooperation of BRICS partners, a vaccine research center is to be hosted in South Africa and will be established in the area of Midrand. The way forward with regard to the site of the vaccine, it is in Midrand, and we hope that we will build it. It will be we had hoped it would be a virtual vaccine center, but we believe we have enough resources to build an actual vaccine center where the CSIR will be responsible for research, and the Animal Research Center also will be in partnership with the CSIR. It is envisaged that the international workshop that we had planned earlier will take place, and it will be convened before October this year to launch the center officially. We were unable to launch the center officially because the time around the discussions of BRICS were very tight. But we have committed that before October, the center will be launched officially, and you will be invited. We had hoped that we would have a women's forum, but unfortunately, we were not ready for that. The women have requested that while we have chairpersonship, they should be allowed to have their own women's forum. And we have given them that space, so we will sometime in the year have a women's forum. We did have a youth forum, we did have an academic forum, and all the reports from that will be provided to you, and they were provided to the leaders when they were in private discussions with each other. One of the other matters that came out of the BRICS was on peacekeeping. BRICS leaders recognize the importance of the United Nations peacekeeping for the maintenance of international peace and security, and the contribution of BRICS countries to the UN peacekeeping effort. They acknowledge the need to increase BRICS cooperation on this matter and recognize that South Africa played a very important initiative in creating peacekeeping efforts and keeping them going on the African continent. The way forward on this one, South Africa would therefore pursue the creation of working groups by facilitating agreements on the guidelines for the creation of working groups. This could further be discussed in the final Sherpas meeting under South Africa's chairpersonship. We as South Africa were very happy that this found its way on the agenda, because we are very keen that we should concentrate on the issue of peacekeeping, especially on the continent, and make sure we can get support from our partners in this effort, and we did in this particular BRICS summit. We also established, what did we get out of this BRICS? We established a BRICS tourism working group. We found that the Russian president was very interested in promoting tourism, so too were the other presidents, and therefore we will have a meeting of senior officials to put together a working group on tourism. We as South Africa are particularly proud of our tourism industry that is growing exponentially, and we would like to make sure that it is sold to our partners and they come to our country in droves. What did we get out of BRICS? Number 6, we agreed with BRICS heads of state that we will have a foreign affairs spokespersons group to make sure that after events like this, we're able to speak with one voice. These would normally be the Sherpas, I think, who would be able to take you through what it is that we have, agreed on, what we have arrived at, and if we speak with one voice, it will help us decoding even the Russian language and decoding the Chinese language, and we've agreed on that. We've also agreed, as I've indicated earlier on a science parks that would have business technology incubators and SMMEs. Ladies and gentlemen, we also had after this a number of bilaterals, and out of the bilaterals we had a host of agreements that we signed, and these will be given to you because there are too many to go through, and we would like to give you the opportunity to ask questions, and we should be able to express ourselves. In the midst of all of this, we have had a finding and the outcome of a court case that involved the former First Lady, Dr. Grace Mugabe, and our lawyers have studied the documents and the outcome of the case, and we have decided, having been advised by a lengthy legal discussion between ourselves and other legal entities, that the department will carry the legal costs as pointed out by the court judgment, that the conferment of immunity on Dr. Mugabe, as published in the Government Gazette, is null and void, as the court has set it aside already. For now, we leave it to the NPA to see their way forward, but we will abide by those two clauses as indicated by the courts. In the next month, we will be going to Unga. We'll be going to FOCAC. FOCAC is a very important organization for us, and therefore we will be meeting with yourselves before we go to FOCAC, because the president will be starting off FOCAC with a state visit to China, and we will be calling you to ensure that you are briefed on that matter. We have an upcoming SADC meeting in Namibia, and we will be in Namibia, therefore, from the 13th to the 14th. It will be followed up by the SADC organ Troika, which is Angola, Tanzania, and Zambia on the 16th. And we're hoping at that particular point to ensure that if there are any outstanding items around the Zimbabwe election, they are dealt with at that particular time. And we will be handing over our chairpersonship as SADC to Namibia. On the issue of Lesotho, we are happy to indicate to you that Judge Musaneke, who is assisted by the deputy ministers, has already started his job, very energetically getting about, making sure that he understands the terrain, and he is currently meeting with his deputy minister, with the deputy ministers assigned to him, and he will be implementing the SADC decisions relating to the stabilization and consolidation of peace and democracy in the Kingdom of Lesotho.